Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 6th Feb today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. Before we will start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. You know, Basically in this video, we will try to discuss various types of questions from different sources. And depending upon the sources from where we take these questions, we can divide our discussion into three different parts. In the first part of our discussion, we are going to discuss questions with respect to current affairs. What we will do? We will take up the most important articles from the news articles. We will try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we will try to derive the possible prelims questions from those particular articles so that it will give you the idea which part of the newspaper is important for your preparation, what should be your approach, and how you can expect a prelims question from that particular article. After solving these questions with respect to current affairs, we'll shift our approach to the second part of our discussion, where we'll discuss questions from the static part. We had started doing it from last few months now, and we are right now discussing Indian polity. And in Indian polity, we are discussing the office of the president. Today, we will solve some concepts. We will try to understand some concepts related to the legislative powers of the president, and we'll try to frame the possible prelims questions from those particular topics so that it will give the idea how you can expect a question from these topics too. After solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion, where we will solve questions from the previous year question book. To me, this is the most important part, as here we will try to understand what is the vocabulary used by UPSC, how they try to frame the questions from in different models, we can say, how they try how they frame questions, how they repeat the questions in different language, and how we can learn from those questions and how we can implement that knowledge in the upcoming exams. And also we'll try to learn how we can solve the questions about, I'm talking about those questions which we don't have the proper knowledge of, how we can solve those questions without having the proper knowledge, what are the different techniques used for that. So we'll try to learn all that in this video, in that part of the video, and this is in nutshell about what we are going to do in this video. Now before we will start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel. As you subscribe it helps the channel grow. Please do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and do write in the comments what do you feel about the video. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the first question which we had brought here. As you can see here on the screen, there is a question with respect to sacred groves. So why we had brought this question? Because there was an article about the sacred groves and the recent Supreme Court directions with respect to them. As you had seen, as we had discussed it in the December also, that Supreme Court directed Rajasthan government, that especially the Department of Forest in Rajasthan government, to to classify, or we can say to notify all sacred groves as community reserves in as the forest land as per provisions of Wildlife Act 1972. So what does Supreme Court here direct Rajasthan government to notify all the sacred groves in the Rajasthan, and notify them as the community reserves under Wildlife Act of 1972, which was basically amended, the Wildlife Act of 1972, which was basically amended in 2002, where this community reserves were added. With respect to this, with respect to sacred groves, we should understand that, we should know one thing, that they come under the these sacred groves, they are basically, they come under the control of the local communities. They come under the control of the local communities. When they come, as they come under the control of local communities under their rights, under the Forest Rights Act 2006, 2000, under the Forest Rights Act 2006. So there is definitely a tussle is going to happen between the Forest Rights Act 2006 and the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, which was amended in 2002. In the Wildlife Protection Act, this responsibility would be shared with the Forest Department, it would be shared with the government. And under the Forest Rights Act 2006, this responsibility of taking care of sacred groves is totally up to the gram sabhas, or we can say local governments. So there definitely the tussle is going to happen. So with respect to that, understanding the concept of under which acts they fall in, currently it falls in the Forest Rights Act 2006, but as the Supreme Court has directed Rajasthan government to notify Rajasthan Forest Department to notify all the sacred groves as community reserves under the Wildlife Protection Act. So definitely the tussle, and with respect to that, we need to understand what these sacred groves are. So about the sacred groves, we will understand through this question what they are, what is their importance, how they help in conserving the biodiversity. So here the question says, which consider the following statements regarding the sacred groves in India. First statement: sacred groves are patches of forest that are protected by local communities due to their religious and cultural significance. 100% correct. These are the sacred groves. It has the spirituality, it is linked with the spirituality of the people there. It is linked with the religious significance. It has a religious significance, it has this cultural significance, and they are the patches of the forest actually which are basically protected by local communities under the forest. They are protected by the local communities under the forest rights act of 2006, Forest Rights Act of 2006. So 100% the first statement is correct. Coming to the second statement, it says the concept of sacred groves is unique to India and is not found in any other part of the world. Totally incorrect. It is totally incorrect. It is not unique to India. It is found in various parts of the world, especially if you will visit in Indonesia. There we find it. In African countries, we have the concept of sacred groves. So this is 100% incorrect. Third statement: sacred groves play a crucial role in biodiversity conservation by preserving rare and endemic species. 100% correct. As you know, it has religious significance, and doing any exploitation of these areas is very much kind of a taboo to the people, to the local people there. So it basically helps, it basically plays a crucial role in conserving the biodiversity, in preserving endemic species there. So third statement, it is 100% correct. Fourth statement, it says the Indian government has enacted specific legislations to protect and manage sacred groves across the country. 100% correct. Under the Forest Rights Act, we had brought these provisions which protected these sacred groves. So with respect to this question, which are the correct statements? Statement 1 is correct, statement 3 is correct, and statement 4 is correct. So with respect to this question, the correct option would be option C. With this, I hope you had understood the question and also what are the legislations involved right now, what is the controversy, as when it will go under the when it will go under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, when as the Supreme Court directed to name them as the community reserves, which were amended, which were brought in amendment of Wildlife Protection Act 2002. So the control of these sacred groves would come under the government. So there would be a tussle, there would be a conflict between the local governments and the state government there, and it would be very much problematic for the conservation of these particular areas. So this is the tussle right now, and that's why we had discussed this question. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what we had brought in there. As here you can see, the question is with respect to the Monetary Policy Committee in India. So why we are discussing this? Because tomorrow they are going to meet. Maybe they would revise money policies under the money rates would be revised tomorrow with respect to under the Monetary Policy Committee. The major focus of the MPC is to curb inflation and to focus on growth. But we know about the inflation and growth, they are very much inversely proportional. And one thing has to be compromised. And with respect to that, there is huge burden on the monetary policy to do so. So with respect to this, we will see tomorrow what they are going to do, what policy change they are going to bring in, what are the rate change they are going to bring in. But here, what do we need to understand? We need to understand about what about the structure of the Monetary Policy Committee, and that we will understand through this question. As here you can see the question, basically, let's see what does the question say. Consider the following statements regarding the Monetary Policy Committee in India. First statement: the MPC is a 12-member body including the governor of the Reserve Bank of India and is reconstituted annually. totally incorrect. It is not a 12-member body, but it is a 6-member body. MPC is 6-member body, as you can see here. I had given the explanation also. It includes the RBI governor, the deputy governor in charge of the monetary policy, and one officer of the RBI nominated by the central board. And also it includes 3 external members appointed by the government of India. So 3 members are from the RBI, 3 members from RBI, and 3 members appointed by the 3 members appointed by the government. So it is the it is not a 12-member body, but it is a 6-member body. Second statement says MPC is tasked with maintaining price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. 100% correct. It is tasked to maintain the inflation, and it has to take care of the growth. As we know, the inflation rate under which it has to adjust is 4% or plus minus 2%. The limit is till 6%. So it has to adjust the inflation rate, it has to adjust below 6%. So currently, as we know, the inflation has reached 5.6%. So it would be a tough task for RBI, for the monetary policy committee to work on it, and we will see tomorrow how they are going to do it. Third statement: the quorum for a meeting of the MPC is 4 numbers. 100% correct. The quorum is 4 numbers. Fourth statement: the final decision on the repo rate rests solely with the RBI governor. No, it does not. The final decision is not solely dependent upon the decision of the RBI governor, but their consensus would be taken on. The voting would be done, and RBI governor's vote would be casted at that time if there is a tie. So it is not solely dependent on the RBI governor. So fourth statement is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Correct statements are 2 and 3 only. So with this, I hope you had understood why we discussed this question, because tomorrow they are going to meet. They will talk about different rates, and today we need to know what is the composition of the monetary policy committee. So with this, I hope you had understood this question also. Now with this, let's move to the another question and see what we had brought on next slide. Here you can see the question is with respect to Israel and Palestine, a very long issue now. It has been in news recently from last 2 years, and it has been in news from last 4 to 6 decades. But why we had brought this question here? Because of the recent statement given by the famous person, namely Mr. Donald Trump. What did he say? That he is going to, as he said, the statements he made in a very political way, we can say, in a very sensitive way. Right now we understand what has been the condition of the Gaza. We understand the human rights violation there. We understand the destruction there, and at the same time, what did he said? That it is the time for the USA to step in and go for the reconstruction of Gaza, where we will develop the infrastructure while industries would come in, and at the same time the people of Gaza would be relocated for till that time to other countries like Egypt and Jordan. So this is his plan, what he is going to do with the Gaza right now, as he was able to go for the ceasefire. Because of him, the one reason why the ceasefire had happened between Palestine and Israel is because of Mr. Donald Trump. So here, what does he say? That the position right now Gaza is in, it is highly destructive. The places are destructed. There are bombs, undetonated bombs are there. So it is the right time for the USA to step in to relocate the people who are right now living in Gaza to other states, nearby states, and redevelop the Gaza and then re-invite them, which is most unlikely to happen. If they are going to reconstruct that, why would they re-invite them? So who would allow them to come in? So this is the separate discussion, but it was very sensitive topic. Right now we saw that how the Gazan people had gone through and what are the conditions they had lived in. So this was very unsensitive statement made by the Mr. Donald Trump, and it was it had seen a mixed reaction from the world leaders. Saudi Arabia, which is one of the ally of US, they had totally opposed this decision of Trump, and also many countries who are allies of US, they had opposed this decision. But one thing interesting, we should know that as India, India, our approach, it has always been the two-state solution, that there should be two-state solutions. Today, India has not yet responded to it, and the experts say that it is prime time to India for India to respond to it in a way like the Saudi Arabia responded and other countries responded. As we are seeing, the allies of US are not very well with this statement of the Trump. So it is the time for India to respond in the same way and show what we all stand for. So this is the whole nutshell why we had brought this question. But here we need to understand about the two nation theory. It is always in the discussion whenever we discuss the Israel Palestine issue, we discuss the two nation theory. So let's get through this question few important points, or we can say an important understanding about the two nation theory, and that we would understand by solving this question. As here the question says, the two nation theory as applied to the Israel Palestine conflict refers to, what does it refer to? The historic claim by Zionist movements for Jewish state in Palestine alongside an Arab state. Totally incorrect. Second statement, the post-World War I division of the Ottoman Empire territories, including Palestine, into mandates under British and French control. Incorrect. Third statement, the United Nations 1947 partition plan, which proposed the creation of a separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option C. With this, I hope you had understood, you had got the basic idea about the two nation theory often mentioned in the news, and also you had got the idea what has been the situation right now, what are the new developments with respect to Israel Palestine conflict. With this, let's move to the another slide and see what we had brought there. Here also with respect to the Israel Arab conflict, when this two nation theory was proposed by United Nations, then in 1948 what Israel did, they unanimously, or we can say they, without consulting anybody, they had declared independence, and that led to the Arab War. And because of that Arab War, many Palestinians, people living in Palestine, they were made refugees. They fled their country, and they called it Nakba. They called this incident as Nakba. So this Nakba term is often in the news. That makes it important for our prelims question. It can be asked in the exam. So let's solve this question through this. Let's understand this question through this. Let's understand this term through this question. Here the question says the term Nakba, often used in the conflict, in the context of Israel-Palestine conflict, refers to, first statement, the establishment of the state of Israel in 1948. No, it is not with respect to that. Second, the series of wars fought between Israel and its Arab neighbors between 1948 to 1973. Totally incorrect. Third statement, the displacement and dispossession of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israel War. 100% correct. This is what it exactly means. So with respect to this term Nakba, the correct statement would be option C. With this, let's move to the another question from the current affairs and see what we had brought there. Here the question is with respect to the state election commissions. As you can see here on the screen, why we had brought this question, because the 31st annual meeting, or we can say the 31st annual meeting of the state election commissions was held in Madhya Pradesh, or we can say the 31st annual conference of state election commissions was held at Madhya Pradesh, MP. So this makes it in a way important for us to understand what this election commission, state election commission, is all about. About state election commissions, we should know that it is constitutional body. State election commission, it is a constitutional body. A question like that may come in the exam, whether it is a statutory body, constitutional body. We should know it is a constitutional body, and it draws its constitutional status from the Act Article 243K and Article 243 ZA, because under these articles, the election for the panchayats and municipalities had been decided, and with respect to them, there should be the state election commission which will hold the elections for the panchayats and municipalities. So this is a very much constitutional body. So with respect to this, we need to know more about it, and that we would come to know through this by solving this question. Here the question says, with reference to the State Election Commission in India, consider the following statements. First statement, the State Election Commission is a constitutional body responsible for conducting free and fair elections to local bodies including panchayats and municipalities. 100% correct. Second, the governor of the state appoints the state election commissioners, 100% correct. He appoints them. Third, the state election commission can recommend the postponement or cancellation of a local body elections to the governor. Totally incorrect. So this statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements would be statement 1 and statement 2 only. The statement 1 and statement 2 only are the correct options. With this, I hope you had understood about the State Election Commission, and also what is the status of State Election Commission under the Indian Constitution, and also you would had understood about these articles, Article 243 and 2K and 243, ZA. I hope you had understood that. With this, let's move to the another question from the current affairs part. Let us see what we had brought there. Here the question is with respect to the Greek ports. You know why we had brought this question? Because a Greek foreign minister has visited India and he is going to discuss the IMEC, which was proposed in 2023. So let's see what question we had brought here. As here the question says, which of the following ports are considered crucial for the Indian Middle East Europe economic corridor due to its strategic location and potential to serve as a major transshipment hub? Is it Piraeus? 100% correct. The correct answer to this is Piraeus. So this is one of the important port which can be used under IMEC, which is the port of the Greek. So with respect to this, I hope you had understood this question also. With this, let's move to the another part of our discussion where we will solve a previous year question. Here, as you know, currently we are discussing questions from the physical geography, and this question was basically asked in 2011. Let's see what was the question. The question says, if a tropical rainforest is removed, it does not regenerate quickly as compared to tropical deciduous forests. What is the reason for that? As we know, in tropical rainforests, the rain is there is often it is raining there, and because of the rain, the soil, it gets eroded. When it gets eroded, the nutrients from the soil gets eroded with them, and the soil becomes less fertile. And because of this less fertility of the soil, it takes time for the tropical rainforests to regenerate quickly as compared to the tropical deciduous forests, and this is the exact reason. So here the statement say the soil of rainforest is deficient in nutrition. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option A. With this, we had completed today's discussion. I hope you would have understood every question which we discussed here. If there is any confusion with respect to any question, please do write in the comments. We will try to clear that. And also, thank you very much for staying with me. Please do subscribe the channel, share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. With this, I would like to say thank you to you guys again once again.